Okay, guys, I am going to talk to you about the comprehensive competency because this is such a huge assignment and I know there's going to be a lot of questions. So, the overall purpose of this assignment is to look at how therapy translates across the healing process. So, every student is going to be assigned a client. There are 3 clients. There's John, there's Miriam, and there's Alicia. And each of these clients has a scenario that starts in a post-acute setting. So that might be home health, it could be inpatient rehab, or skilled nursing. And there's like an evaluation and goals that go along with that post-acute setting. Then at the end of that setting, the client has been discharged, is home, and is then starting outpatient services. So there's a blurb about what they're working on in the outpatient setting and goals that correspond with that setting. So with that being said, the way that this assignment is given, I know this is backwards, so just do the best you can. You're given the client name, which post-acute goals you'll be working on. So you're not working on all of them. It's very specific. It's just you've got 1 or 2 goals that you'll be working on for that client, and then which outpatient goal you will be working on. All right, then who will be the OTA student, and then who your lab partner will be, which means they'll be portraying this client during your competency, and then you'll swap. All right, so like I said, you're just addressing 1 or 2 goals per setting, per client. All right. This is going to take a lot of time, so each student has about 30 minutes for the whole competency. Right? So you should do about 10 to 12 minutes on your assignment or on your intervention per setting, and then those other few minutes can be used as setup in between the 2 settings. All right, so here's what the interventions look like. John's really looks like an electronic health record. So, and then the other ones are more like a Word document. All right, so that's that. So this is the competency template. This is what I want to go over block by block with you. So this first block, you just put your student name and your assigned scenario. I want you to literally copy and paste the entire scenario. I know it's long, I know it makes the template long, but it's easier for me to be able to reference back to the top of your template than to try and go find the scenario. All right. For John, you'll have to just type in the prior level of function and the pertinent information for your goals, because it's an Adobe PDF. You might have a hard time copying and pasting. You can try though. All right. So then block 2 right here, you have your post-acute goals and then your outpatient goals. You are just going to copy and paste the ones that you've been assigned, not all of them. Just if you're assigned post-acute goal 3 and outpatient goal 3, that goes here. That's it, nothing else. All right. Block 3 is just describing interventions, techniques, approaches that you would use with the client with that diagnosis. They aren't specific intervention plans, intervention ideas, or activities that you're going to do to meet that goal. This is overarching treatment approaches that you would use. All right, so you should list 5 of those. All right. Box 4 is finding an evidence-based article, and then you will answer, there's 4 or 5 questions. So there's about 4 prompts that you will answer with just 1 or 2 sentences each about your article. You will also highlight this article and submit it with your template. Okay. So that brings us to box 5. Now box 5 is the collaborative meeting. This is a very important meeting. You should have boxes 1 through 4 complete. It's copy and paste, some intervention approaches, and an evidence-based article. It's not a lot. It should be 100% done, ready to go by the time you have this meeting. Boxes 6 through 11, that's the interventions that you're going to do. You need a rough draft completed. Do not come to me without a rough draft. If you come to me not prepared for this meeting, there is a deduction. You don't get points for having the meeting. You only get deductions for not having your meeting. or not coming prepared for your meeting. So this is very important. The one and only time we do rough drafts, right on this meeting. This meeting must be completed by the end of the day, Wednesday, November 20th. Okay. I can't meet with 11 people after class on Wednesday, November 20th. I teach all day on Wednesday. Y'all are in class pretty much all day, 4 days a week. So you're going to have to work ahead. You're going to have to schedule. You're going to have to plan. You're going to have to get with me and see when you can meet. But when you meet with me, you better be prepared. Better have things in order, ready to go. Don't waste your own time, and don't waste my time. Okay, so that is the collaborative meeting. This meeting does not require my signature. It does require you to type up a brief synopsis of what was discussed and type in the date and time of the meeting as well. All right, so the intervention, the meat of this template. So you have 3 boxes per setting. So in the post-acute setting, you will outline a preparatory activity, a purposeful activity, and an occupation-based activity. The boxes are pretty much the same for each of those interventions. You're going to give a problem statement addressed by the intervention, what performance components are being addressed by that intervention, just a brief description, bullet points of what the intervention is, what you're going to be doing, what's the clinical rationale for that intervention. Where's the setting? Now, post-acute setting, right? You're told, oh, it's inpatient rehab. I don't want you to put inpatient rehab. Put inpatient rehab, client's bedroom, or inpatient rehab, therapy gym, using the mat table, using whatever. Be specific here. Don't just put the obvious. All right, what equipments and supplies will be needed for that intervention? And then what are any precautions or contraindications? All right. So for the preparatory intervention and the purposeful intervention, that's exactly the same. It's the same for the occupation-based intervention. On the occupation-based intervention for the post-acute setting, you will also type up an education or a home program. You don't have to make the whole handout, just what is the topic, what would be some good education to provide the client at that setting, or at that level, all right? So that's everything for the post-acute. You will perform the occupation-based intervention, and you will perform either the preparatory or the purposeful. So you'll do preparatory or purposeful, and then you'll follow that up with the occupation-based. You will not do all 3. You do 2 of the 3, okay? Then we'll transition. Oh, yay, discharge from post-acute. Now you're going home. You're going to go to outpatient. We'll switch the room around, do whatever we need to do, and you move to the outpatient setting. It's the exact same boxes. Preparatory, purposeful, occupation-based. Same requirements that you will do. In the purposeful and the occupation-based for the outpatient setting, you will be dressing an IADL, and then the post-acute's really our ADL goals. But outpatients, the focus is on IADLs. All right. The only difference in the outpatient setting as far as those boxes are concerned, instead of stating an education or a home exercise plan, you're also going to actually make one and submit it on the day that all of this is due. Okay, so you'll put the title, the focus on the handout here. When we have that collaborative meeting, you need to know what you want your home exercise program to be. You don't necessarily have to have it 100% printed out and completed, but you need to have an idea of what you're going to be doing there. All right, so then box 12 is the approval meeting. So this is the second meeting. This meeting must take place by the end of the day, Tuesday, November 26th. All right, so this is right before we leave for Thanksgiving, the last day that I can do this with you all. All right, you need to have everything printed out and completed, finalized. Your home exercise program handout needs to be finished, completed, printed out. Bring it all to me. That's what you're turning in. That's what I will be using to grade you, what I will be looking at while you're doing your demonstration of competency. All right. The focus of this meeting is not whether or not you have good intervention ideas. I'm not going to discuss that with you at this time. We are only going to be talking about the logistics of doing the competency on that day. What equipment do you need to have set up? Will you need to use the sim lab? Will you need to use the OTA lab? Will you need to use the nursing lab? What space is required? Those types of things, okay? We want this day to run as smoothly as possible. I am not going to be assigning times for competency until all approval meetings are finished. I will then look at who needs to be in what rooms when, so that if you are doing your outpatient session in the OTA lab, then the person who would be going next could be setting up in the nursing lab or in the sim lab. Right? That way, we're really trying to cut down on that time spent in between setting up. Okay, so times will be determined after all the approval meetings are completed. The approval meeting does require my signature. This is your final collaboration with your supervising occupational therapist. All right. You then turn in your whole template. The last page of this template, which is the last page as of right now, is box 13, which is the demonstration, and then box 14 and 15, which are your narrative notes. So there's nothing that you have to put in box 13. That's where I will put your grade from your actual demonstration. And then box 14 and 15 gives you guidance on how to write your narrative note. You'll write a narrative note for your post-acute session. You'll write a narrative note for your outpatient session. Just type these up in Word. You can type up, like, put post-acute setting at the top, put your client's name, and then write your narrative note. And then, another on below it, outpatient, client's name, and your note, and upload that. It doesn't have to be in the template, because I will have this whole template printed, and I'm going to grade the printed version. So that needs to be uploaded, separate document, by 9 a.m. It says 8 a.m. By the time class starts the next day, it has to be completed. I would recommend as soon as you finish your competency, you go sit down and you do your note and just get it done and over with. Alright, so that is the entire template. The last thing I will go over with you, this is the performance rubric. So one side of it is for the post-acute setting. The rubric has the intervention and preparation set up. Did you choice of activity? What were you prepared? Was the setup appropriate for your client? Your implementation of the intervention and strategies. Did you follow what your treatment plan was? Did you have to stray from it for some unforeseeable reason? Did you use good therapeutic use of self? And then interaction and instruction is therapeutic use of self. How did you talk to your client? Did you talk to them like an adult? Did you meet them at their cognitive level? And then the bottom part is safety, and that's just pass or fail. So either you were safe and you passed the competency, or you had multiple safety errors, or you poorly corrected safety errors, or you just didn't correct safety errors, in which you would fail. So then you need to review the competency policy in the student handbook. Exact same thing for the outpatient setting. So all of that is worth 30 points total is the demonstration. And of course the whole competency is 100 points. All right, I just wanted to give you some extra instruction on this that you could go back and look over. I'm sure you may still have questions, and I'll be happy to answer those as we go. All right, bye.